Have you ever wondered how a brilliant idea actually becomes a product that people use and, really love? It's not just luck, and it's definitely not an accident. There's a professional standard for this stuff, and it's called the BABOK guide. Think of it as the ultimate blueprint for making change happen.
I mean, this is the million-dollar question for pretty much every company out there, right? Getting from just a concept to something real, something successful. Well, it isn't magic. It's actually a very structured process of figuring out what people truly need and then designing the perfect solution. And that whole process, that's what we call business analysis.
So to make this all feel a bit more real, let's use a simple example throughout our chat. Imagine we're helping a local coffee shop build a brand new mobile ordering app. We're going to call it CoffeeGo. We'll keep coming back to this idea to break down all the big concepts we're about to cover. Okay, so here's our game plan, and it actually follows the key ideas in the beginning of the BABOK guide itself. First, we'll talk about why we keep calling this thing a blueprint, what its purpose is. Then, we'll nail down what business analysis actually is. After that, we'll meet the person who does it, the business analyst. And finally, we'll take a quick tour of how the guide is put together. Think about it. You would never build a house without a blueprint, right? You need one to make sure the final building is strong, safe, and actually does what it's supposed to do. Well, the BABOK guide plays that exact same role, but for business projects. It's there to make sure the end result is valuable and effective. This quote is pulled right from the guide, and it's the core mission. So let's kind of break that down. It's all about enabling change. But here's the key. It's not just change for the sake of change. It's about taking the time to deeply understand the real need first, and only then recommending solutions that deliver actual, tangible value to everyone involved. So for our CoffeeGo app, this means the blueprint isn't just about designing cool buttons or writing code. Nope, no. It's about making sure the app actually makes it faster for customers to get their morning coffee, which, makes them happy. And in turn, that increases sales for the shop owner, helping the business grow. That's value. So let's get a little more specific. What does it actually mean to do business analysis? I want you to think of it as building a bridge. And here's that official definition again. See those two key actions in there? Defining needs and recommending solutions. That's the entire journey, right there. It's about getting from understanding a problem to designing the solution that fixes it. Now, this is a really, really important distinction the guide makes. Over on the left, you have the requirement. That's the what. So something like, we need to see 6 months of sales data. Then on the right, you've got the design. That's the how. In this case, maybe a sketch of a dashboard. Business analysis is the magic that happens in that space between the what and the how. And let's bring this right back to our CoffeeGo app. The need, or the requirement, is that customers are busy and they just want a super quick way to reorder their favorite drink. The solution, or the design, is a big, friendly My Usual button right on the home screen. See? Business analysis is the work of discovering that need and then coming up with that elegant solution. So who is this person that builds that bridge between needs and solutions? This architect of change? Well, let's meet the business analyst. Now, this is a huge point from the guide. Business analyst is a role. It's not just a job title. A project manager, a product owner, even the CEO could be acting as a business analyst. Bottom line, if you are the one figuring out what people truly need and recommending a solution, well, congratulations, you're performing business analysis. And to do this job well, it's not just about flowcharts and spreadsheets. You need this amazing mix of skills. You need systems thinking to see how all the pieces of the puzzle fit together. You need incredible communication skills to really listen and explain complex ideas. And you absolutely need leadership to help influence and guide everyone toward the best possible outcome. So for our CoffeeGo app, the BA's role is super active. They're not just sitting at a desk all day. They're out there talking to people. They're interviewing the owner, they're surveying customers, and then they translate all of that amazing insight into clear, actionable plans, like sketches of the app and feature lists that the developers can actually build. All right, so we've covered the what and the who. Now for the final piece of our puzzle, a quick peek at the how. What does this blueprint, the BABOK guide, actually look like on the inside? Now, the guide is structured like a massive professional toolkit. It can look a little intimidating at first, but to get started, you really just need to know about two main things: the knowledge areas, which are like the big phases of the work, and the techniques, which are the specific tools you'll use along the way.
So think of knowledge areas as the big stages of your project. For instance, business analysis planning and monitoring is the very first stage. It's all about making a solid game plan. For our Coffee Go app, this is where the BA starts asking questions like, who do I need to talk to? How am I going to keep track of all these great ideas? How are we going to make decisions as a team? And then we have the techniques. If the knowledge areas are the stages, then the techniques are the specific tools you pull out of your toolbox for each stage. The guide literally has a whole chapter with over 50 of them. For Coffee Go, our BA might use prototyping, literally sketching out the screens, and then write user stories to clearly explain what the app needs to do for a customer. And really, that's the whole point of the guide. It's to create a shared understanding and a process that you can repeat. When everybody is speaking the same language and using the same best practices, it just empowers them to consistently turn needs into really valuable solutions and create much, much better business outcomes. Whether it's a simple coffee app or a massive global system, the process is fundamentally the same. It all starts by asking the right questions to uncover the real need. The BABOK guide is the blueprint that helps you find those answers. So what problem are you trying to solve?